Is the Toyota Tacoma the perfect mid-size truck? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Robmotive. So the big question, is the Toyota Tacoma the perfect mid-size truck? You know, I've been thinking about this a little bit. You know, been getting some trolls on the channel, you know, talking smack about the Toyota Tacoma and buying other things and how outdated the Tacoma is, and all these others are so much better. But I got to thinking about that, and first of all, I often wonder, well, then why are you on a Toyota Tacoma enthusiast site? That never makes sense to me, and I have an answer for that. It's jealousy. And they're trying to justify that they've spent so much money on these other trucks that they're not happy with. So they get out and they go on a, obviously, Toyota Tacoma enthusiast site and try to make themselves feel better. Like making trolling comments somehow will make it real, will make it true that maybe the Tacoma isn't as good as everything else. But they're wrong. After all, they're here, they're on my site. So I'm out cruising around right now, enjoying the ride in my Toyota Tacoma. And I gotta say, that's one of the first things. You know, I have a little bit of a lift on this truck, some different shocks in the front, nothing in the back, just to bring it up, to kind of balance it out a little bit. And the ride is awesome. Much better than a lot of the other trucks I've had in the past. And I've had some Chevys, I've had some Fords. I recently within the last few years, drove the Ford Ranger. It was not smooth. It was not a good ride. I didn't care for it. The best thing about it was the sound it made when you shut the door. I guess that's good when you're leaving, right? Otherwise, it was not good. Not to mention the ones that I've had in the past, they were no good. What about on the inside? You know, the technology and stuff. A lot of people dog that. I must admit, I've been guilty of that myself. But as I think about it a little bit further, you know, I have had some other vehicles recently where the tech was cool, it looked good, it looked futuristic, but it didn't work all the time. You know, there were instances where my cell phone wouldn't connect. What's that about? I mean, it can look great, but if it doesn't work, is it really worth having? I mean, I want things to work, and I've never had any of that trouble with my Toyota Tacoma. Everything syncs up right. Everything is easy to use. It's intuitive. It's right in front of your face. You can't mess it up. I love that. It's awesome. And that's the other thing. You can't mess it up. I know one of the big fears people have about using computers and cell phones and things, more tech, is that if you do the wrong thing, you're going to screw it up. You're going to enter this void, and you're never going to get back. You never have that problem with the Toyota Tacoma. The dash work, you know, I go both ways on this. You know, it has the old style needle gauges and all that stuff in it, but that stuff is dependable and it's easy to see. You know, in some of the more recent vehicles that I've had with all the digital stuff and the colors and different ways you can customize your dash, I found that I was having trouble pinpointing what I wanted to see. In other words, I had to concentrate more on it. In the Toyota Tacoma, it's right there in front of me. In the center, the way I have mine set up, I have the digital readout for the speed. Also has miles to empty, all that good stuff. But to the right, I still have the old needle gauge. So either way, it's pretty easy for me to pinpoint what I'm looking for without having to spend too much time with my eyes off the road, like you shouldn't be doing. The looks of the Toyota Tacoma. You know, the competitors, they keep coming out with other stuff. You know, we had the new Nissan Frontier. We've got the mini trucks. We've got all kinds of different things out there now. But the Toyota Tacoma still remains the best looking mid-sized truck on the road. It's awesome. It's timeless. You know, Toyota's going to have a difficult time, I think, when they do finally come out with the redesign, because they're really only competing against themselves. And if they mess it up, they're going to ruin something they already have. Next up is the modability of it. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do with the Toyota Tacoma. I mean, you can make it your own. You can make it better. You can keep it the same. You can do anything that you want. The Toyota Tacoma aftermarket, the mod aftermarket, is huge, and it's thriving. There are so many things out there. I don't think that you could ever go through the whole list of them and install everything that's available out there for the Toyota Tacoma. I love that. Again, I've had other vehicles where after I had them, I get to look at it and I'm thinking, gee, there's not so much to do with this. I would have thought their aftermarkets would have been pretty darn good as well, but they're not. And I think that's due to you and I. You know, some of the people, a lot of the people that buy the Toyota Tacoma buy it because you can personalize it. You can lift it, bigger wheels and tires. There's all kinds of aesthetic things you can do. All kinds of little mods and features and things you can add if you want to. That makes the Toyota Tacoma ownership fun. Now let's talk about reliability. One of the cornerstones of the Toyota Tacoma, and I know there are occasions out there where maybe something will happen or whatever. I mean, let's face it, it's a machine built by man still. So there are going to be instances, I guess, where maybe something can happen. But overall, and for me, compared to some of the others that I've had, the Toyota Tacoma is perfect. I mean, I haven't had any issues with it. When I go out, I start it up, or I want to start it up, it runs. It doesn't act weird. It doesn't have a weird idle. You know, something I've experienced recently in my Jeep Gladiator. It ran great when it was brand new, but now with only, what, about 2,400 miles on it or so, it's got a vibration to it. It's got a rough idle. Took it to the dealership. They told me it was normal. Nothing like that in my Toyota Tacoma. It runs just as smoothly as the day that I had it, that I bought it. I love that about the truck. I don't want to have to worry when I go out and jump in my vehicle that it's not going to run or that it's not running right. There's nothing more aggravating to me than that. Forget about everything else. Ultimately, it's got to run right. If it doesn't, the ownership experience is not going to be very good. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here, talk about the Tacoma a bit. You know, I can be critical on it once in a while, and that's only because it is so perfect. It is the best mid-size truck out there. Sales numbers alone will show that. If it was a horrible truck, why in the world would you and I and others continue to buy it? This is my 6th. There must be something good about it because I keep going back. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd be curious. What is your ownership experience? Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Robmotive JT, all about that Jeep Gladiator, and Robmotive Rides, currently about my new-to-me Mercedes-Benz. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.